And welcome back to the National Lawyer Show with well-known personal injury attorney Michael Freedman. Michael, let's talk about how we evaluate a claim. How do you know what to ask for when you're trying to settle?
My initial settlement demand and my final settlement demand is based on what I think a jury verdict would be in that particular case. When you're looking at what that verdict would be, there are certain factors that I know a jury is going to look at. Number one, they're going to look at the accident itself. Was it a little fender bender, or were the cars crushed and were totaled and had to be towed away? The injury that the client sustains, was he flown to shock trauma, or did he walk away from the accident and 2 weeks later decide to go to a doctor? What is the injury? Is it a soft tissue injury, which is kind of difficult to show to a jury, or is my client going to come in with one arm, or come in a wheelchair? Makes a major difference. The kind of medical treatment that the client received. Did he treat for a year, or did he treat for a couple weeks and then he was fine? That's very important. Lost wages. Was he injured so seriously that he had to take time off from work? And finally, is there any permanent damage? Is there any permanency to his injury? And if so, we would get that client rated for a specific permanent disability. You take all of that together and you kind of come up with what an idea the jury would come back with. All right. And then when you have that, you know that there are certain costs involved in trying a case. There's time involved with trying a case. And our attorney fee usually goes up to some degree if you try the case. So you know what the minuses are from a financial standpoint and from a time standpoint, and you get an idea then, if this is what I think the jury verdict range will be, then this is what I need to settle the case for.
So let's try to separate fact from fiction. So I've heard that there's a formula, like you can multiply the medicals by 3 to come up with a number. From what you're explaining, though, it doesn't sound like that's the case.
No, in the old days, back in the day, that was actually a formula that was utilized. But in today's marketplace, every case is looked at on an individual basis. And all the factors that I mentioned, and there are actually a whole bunch of others, like has the client been involved in accidents before? Has he injured that part of his body before? What part of the country are we talking about? What kind of venue is it? Is it a liberal venue? Is it a concern? All of these things now come into play, and the insurance companies evaluate a case in that manner, and therefore we have to evaluate the case in that manner. So no, there really is no formula.
Michael Freedman, personal injury attorney, thanks for joining us on the National Lawyer Show.
Thank you, Gary.